You might disagree with what I'm about to say, but I did not like Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 1 because hell, I loved it. I'm smiling ear to ear like the damn Joker. Because episode 1 begs to ask the question, how much crazier can we get? And dog, off the rip, we get some crazy reveals. Hints and teases at a couple of Batman villains, insane cameos, and a whole lot of fun. But I do gotta keep it a stack of pancakes with you. I was a little disappointed. And so much more. Either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it in a spoiler manner. I'm talking full spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, make sure you drop a like, follow, but come back later because I do want to hear your thoughts. And before watching and heading into Peacemaker Season 2, I was just excited to get to hang out with the 11th Street kids again. Like, this is just a cast of characters and actors that I've just thoroughly enjoyed and had a whole bunch of fun with. But then we had that added layer that Season 1 took place in the DCEU, and we had a whole bunch of questions on what James Gunn was going to keep canon from Season 1 to Season 2. And James Gunn has teased a whole bunch of crazy cameos we can expect in this season. And off rip, he addresses the elephant in the room like that, by just simply changing the DCEU's Justice League cameo with the Justice Gang, Superman and Supergirl here. So everything that happened in Peacemaker Season 1 is canon to the DCEU already. There's not going to be some type of multiversal shenanigans. Even though it does look like we're going to be dipping into the multiverse a little bit. But like, you even get a nice little snarky comment between Green Lantern and Hot Girl, similar to the Flash and Aquaman. And of course, it's just all the major superheroes that James Gunn has introduced up to this point. But James, what's going on? We couldn't get the man who makes corn sweat? I feel like he's definitely making a cameo at some point in this season. But regardless, we jump back into the world of Peacemaker taking place after the events of Season 1 and dive into this quantum tunnel fucking multiverse portal that Peacemaker has, and of course this motherfucker's in his tidy whities.
Now that's just racist.
And of course the reason he goes in there is to let Eagly fly around because he was too lazy to go outside because it's cold. Being in your tidy whities, I can understand why. But we see like this other fucking alien taking some trash out, and Peacemaker says, "Hey friend," who just walks away, says, "Are you fucking crypt keeping mother..." And I just love how Monsters Inc. coded this place is, like all of these doors that lead to a different place, until he discovers one that has a bunch of Peacemaker helmets. So he opens up the door and we see that it's a universe where him, his dad, and his brother all live, and they're heroes. He's a hero. And then that leads into the new opening credits intro, which I gotta be honest was a little underwhelming. As much as I love Foxy Shazam and the new choreography, it just doesn't hit as hard as Wig Wham Do You Want to Taste It. But from there we pick up with the 11th Street kids picking up the pieces, because after Adebayo, or Ads as Peacemaker calls her, I love that little touch, outed her own mother Amanda Waller and everything she's doing with Task Force X, they're having a hard time finding jobs. And that's when we see Peacemaker going in for an interview, and I know that ain't who I think it is. The first live action appearance of White Rabbit, I believe.
Eyes up here.
Who, if you don't know, is Jaina Hudson, a former lover of Batman and primarily a Batman villain, who's able to split herself into 2 different forms, one of those being the White Rabbit. And I don't know who plays her, but elite casting, James. Elite casting. From there, we see Peacemaker try to interview with the Justice Gang. It's the same bit that we've seen in the trailers where he can hear them talking shit about him. As we can tell, the theme this season is him trying to pick up the pieces and try to become a better person, but he's struggling with that. Everybody take a moment to acknowledge Hot Girl being a hot girl. Thank you. From Chris Smith, we go to Amelia Harcourt, who is having trouble picking up the pieces too. She can't find a fucking job, and apparently she's struggling from toxic masculinity as a woman. I love how this dude was like, "Are you sexist? Do you think that only applies to women?" And she got some anger, dog. She got to go talk to Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler for real. Get some of that anger management. But then we pick up with this relationship being a little bit rocky. Turns out him and Harcourt hooked up on a boat, which Harcourt says is the dumbest shit she's ever done. And Chris is trying to comfort her, but she's, pushing people away because she's not in the best state right now. And that's when this episode just goes full-on hero-gasm. Like, ain't a snowball's chance in hell I could show you what the fuck was going on, but just know there was some fucking. Not just some fucking, some fucking. And that's when we pick up with Diebeard, just kidding, John Economos, as it looks like he's on assignment watching over Peacemaker. He gets a call from Adrian Vigilante, who just asks him to quiz him about owls because he knows a bunch of shit, and of course he doesn't. That's when we get introduced to the DCU's version of Sasha Bordeaux, played by Sol Rodriguez and James. I love you. And at one point in the comics, she's a bodyguard working for Bruce Wayne who discovers his secret identity as Batman and actually joins him as an ally. Later on, she gets involved with Omax, which I think is going to play a huge factor in this season of Peacemaker. We then cut to Rick Flag Sr., who's looking over a news broadcast talking about how a bunch of inmates are escaping a bunch of prisons in Bellevue, Bloodhaven. Arkham is directly mentioned, which is our third Batman reference in this entire episode already. But it turns out he wants an update from Economos, who is now working for Argus monitoring Peacemaker. And Peacemaker, by the way, is not partaking in an orgy because he's enamored with this door. He's faded, feeling bad after what Harcourt said, being rejected still. So he goes to that other universe where his brother and dad are still alive, and we see that his brother is actually played by David Denham, as he ends up drinking with his brother and his dad like nothing bad ever happened in his universe. I really felt John Cena in this scene when he starts crying, bro. Like, you could just tell, like, they're not big pieces of shit like they are in their universe. They are still kind of pieces of shit. But we again get mentions of imps. Mr. Mixpickle, fucking longest name ever, is about to appear in this show some way, somehow. And while all that was happening, Harcourt decided to get her frustrations out by going to a bar knowing she would get hit on, so she could literally hit on some dudes. And she was going full Black Widow. I was like, God damn. But she did get overpowered and kicked out of the bar. That's when we see Economos go to ads to try to get her to talk to Peacemaker about the blip in the radar that they're getting at his house because of the quantum tunnel that he's going to, the universal shit. Peacemaker strolls around all sad, sees a picture of this universe's Chris actually being in a relationship with Harcourt. That's when he pulls up on him and he says, I'm not the one staring at me. Who the fuck are you? As we get a dope little fight sequence that ends up in the quantum area, Chris ends up killing himself. Oh my God, Peacemaker killed Peacemaker. He didn't get hit once. Stay with me. No, stay with me. He should have went to the school of Andrew Garfield for real. But yeah, we cut to black and that's how this episode ends. We get a nice little fun, playful mid-credit scene where he's just talking shit about 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah, Jared Leto, you're out of there. But overall, I gotta be honest, this episode was a little underwhelming. I don't know what I was expecting. I feel like it's a solid start to the new season, and obviously the first couple episodes are a little bit of a slower burn, but I did like the fact that it did reestablish us in this world, and it felt nice to get back into this world. Finally getting confirmation that Peacemaker Season 1 is indeed canon to the DCU. Some fun Easter eggs and references to Superman, Batman, and the wider DCU at large. Story seems, kind of decent. I'm loving the setups of all the characters and the eventual arcs they're gonna go on. And the choreography in the opening number was cool. I mean, they added a couple of new shit, but, just doesn't hit as hard as Wig Wham.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So off rip does not touch the first season. So we can calmly and confidently say this one is not as good as the first one. But I feel like that just mainly has to do with the song choice. Like Wig Wham just hits every single time. Do you want to taste it? Like, you're not gonna beat that. Like, don't get me wrong, this song right here is cool. It just feels like, a little more mellowed out and like much more emotional. Like, I'm not trying to be in my feels, you feel me? Like, I'm trying to have some fun. Like, Do You Want to Taste It by Wigman made me feel like running through a brick wall. It made me feel like, I'm having a great time. So I really hope this isn't a precursor to the quality of this season. I mean, I still thought it was really fun. Like, it was definitely a lot bigger. I just think it's the song choice for me. Like, the choreography is pretty much the same. They even added a couple new elements, like the whole dirty dancing thing between Harcourt and Peacemaker. They flew up into the sky as they spun, which was pretty cool. There had to be some type of wire work. And I do like this ending shot. This ending shot here is kind of funny with everyone just like laying down. My dog Tim Meadows peeking through, and then we got Eagly being like, I don't know who the fuck I am. If I had to rate this intro out of 10, I'd give it like a I'm gonna give it like a 8.5, a little 8 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. We're gonna give this a 3.5. That first intro was 4.5 to a 5, like a 9.5 to a 10, you know what I mean? Like, as close to peak as you could possibly get, but I am mad at it. But I might skip this intro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never skipped. I might even have rewatched it in the same episode, that intro from season 1. This one right here, I feel like I might be skipping.
I want to know where the hell is goddamn Mr. Terrific too, man. Could I get my guy Eddie Gathegi in here? Let him hit more people with his balls. Either way, you already know this one feels like it's gonna veer towards like The Boys territory with its fucking craziness and batshit bonkers hard R rating. I'm gonna be eating that shit up all day. You're gonna eat shit up, Sammy? Yeah, and you're gonna watch me do it too. But either way, a solid start to the new season. I had a whole lot of fun with it. If I had to give it a rating out of 5 stars, it's probably a 3.5 out of 5 stars for me. Now, I'm excited to keep watching. This is gonna be a fun ride, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Have you seen Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 1? What do you think about that? My thoughts, theories, and opinions down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.